can be killed, right?
I have
chaos can destroy them.
About dragon is that I've tried to play one in a game, but as you say, they're so completely A and they don't have passion.
So the way that Greg does them is he just has them like do weird things once in a while to kind of simulate. Yeah. I mean, the dragons have motivation for what they do, but we just don't. One of the things is the dragons are the left-hand magic, is how they put it. And everything else in Glorantha is the right-hand magic. What does that mean? It's not clear. You know?
Yeah, but so how would you explain that there are, dragon use units as mercenaries in an army? Why would they do that? Do they need money?
Well, they might. I mean, dragoners do leave their homes and go long distances to do things, and when they do that, then they have to hunt and learn to cook and eat and do everything. And also, there's barbarian dragoners that aren't as much into the dragon, that just like they were left behind by the dragons. Especially in Rallios, you have a lot of barbarian dragons. Yeah, they just live like animals, Some of them even have like a primitive version of the inhuman king. And those in Rallios might breed more often to replace their numbers, right? So there probably used to be more dragonutes, and as they went extinct, they were replaced. And remember, the dragonutes that we have left are the very worst ones, the crappiest ones, because these are the ones that haven't gone on to dragonhood. The ones that were so selfish, or so cowardly, or so inferior, or so lazy that almost all the dragoners today were alive at the dawn. They just haven't done anything, right? They just sit around and exist. They don't have the same motivation. So the ones that were motivated went on to become dragons, and these stuck around. So we have the worst examples of dragons.
So what happened to all those that made it to dragons?
They became dragons.
Yeah, but where are they now?
Well, they go on to who knows, right? They're somewhere, right? The dragon's eye or something. Dragons seem to be able to fade it. It's not clear. Okay, maybe it's the same place. Okay, both the Malchione and the dragons say that the invisible god and the dragons aren't in the same place. But it might be a similar place, right? Because the invisible god doesn't have any manifestation in Glorantha. But the Malchione are all convinced he exists. And they have carefully plotted proofs of that he exists, despite the fact that he does nothing. So the dragons, similarly, they say, oh yeah, well, he became a dragon and he went away, so therefore, obviously, there's a place they go.
But you would destroy the dragon youths if you destroy their, breeding.
Yeah, you can destroy the breeding grounds and they don't get reborn.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So there's fewer dragonists now because they did that at the start of the Dragon Kill War. And that killed a bunch of dragonists. Now they don't dare do it anymore because they found out, the thing is they thought that the dragons were gone. But they found out that at least some of them were still around, and that was bad. Has it been published what the goal of the Empire of the Worm's Friends was?
No.
Okay, so...
No, it doesn't strike anything.
I mean, do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, so here is the map of Glorantha. Sort of. Here's Genartella, right? So here's the Oslear River. And here's the Rockwood Mountains. Right? Right? And down here is the Holy Country. Okay? So, the Rockwoods. Right? Okay, so what they were doing is they were creating the world dragon. Okay? And in doing so, the reason that they were oppressing the people so direly is that they were taxing and draining them to, partly to cause unhappiness. Because what they were making, the plan was, the spine of the dragon is the Oslear River. The wings of the dragon are the mountains, the Rockwoods. Okay? Like the head of the dragon is the holy country with all the magics, and the soul and the mind of the dragon are the people and the leaders of the worm's friends. Okay? And in giving the dragon passion and personality, to give it like a heart and a soul, they were repressing the people and filling them with anger and passion and betrayal and all the emotions they needed to have in the dragon. And sucking all the magic out to put it into the dragon to compose it. But it was hard and it was causing disruptions. And what they were trying to do, they're trying to reach the point where these things would balance off and it would merge and then the dragon would rise up. And it would probably destroy Glorantha, but it'd be okay because you'd have the world dragon, right? But what happened at some point, the Dragonutes realized that the disruptions were so great that the process wasn't going to succeed.
So they stopped it.
No, then they went up and they killed them all right away. Because of course they wanted it to happen, right? But they said, okay, it's going to fail. We'll kill them all so it'll stop.
How did they realize it will fail? I didn't get that.
Well, the Dragonutes?
Yeah.
Well, presumably they were working out mathematical probabilities of how much magic they needed and how much personality. They were just looking at the numbers, right? And the Worm's Friends people said, no, we can do it. And the Dragonutes calculated and they couldn't. And they might have known, right? Because they were, closer into how the Dragonutes worked.
Chickened out?
What?
Do they have chickened out? Chickened out from the project?
Yes. Yeah, it could be just that, right? So anyway, so they rise up, they wipe out all the Empire of the Worm's Friends leaders, and then everyone comes down to destroy the Dragonutes. Right? Because the Dragonutes, in the first place, the people that liked the Worm's Friends leaders were mad at the Dragonutes because they killed the leaders, and the people that didn't like the Worm's Friends leaders hated the Dragonutes because the Dragonutes were the Worm's Friends leaders too. They were right up at the top. So for example, if you hate China's rulership and the leaders of the army wipe out the rulership, you'll still hate the army, right? Right? And if you like the leadership, so no matter what, everyone hated the Dragonutes, and that's where the Dragonute War came out. But that's what they were doing. They were making the world dragon.
So there are no
At
other.
least that's what Greg and I believed in 1988.
Okay.
And that's why they're focused on such a small thing. And that's why, even though they were so much smaller than the Godlearner Empire, they were deeper and more powerful. The Godlearners had breadth, the Worm's Friends had depth. Because of course the Godlearners had the Eastern, the Middle Sea Empire, and they had the False Dragon Ring, which was a separate country. It was a separate empire, but it was founded by Godlearner. It was break-off separate, right? And then, of course, the Six-Leggers were another break-off. And there was one non-human empire, the Aranor Elf Empire.
So all the elder plans we know about, right? There was no the elder races plans. There's no other elder race we missed. The trolls, the Mustali, and the elves.
We don't know the Dragonute plan, but we know they have one because of the Dragonute dream. That's part of their plan.
The Dragonute, what was
the Dragonute?
Yeah, well, what was it?
That was the Dragonute starting their plan. That wasn't just a random thing. That is the Dragonute setting their plot into action. We know that the dwarf plan is the next step of the world machine is to bring the moon down, so it orbits. See, the first part worked; it came up. Now it has to go down and then orbit like the sun does. That's all part of the plan.
But it will eventually happen, right? I mean, the moon will go down.
Oh yeah, and the dwarfs will throw, right?
But
no, our race just wants to destroy the moon.
Yes.
The dwarfs wanted to keep going.
So they wanted to make it...
just like the sun.
Yeah.
Like a clockwork.
But who is coordinating a plan like this with the elder race? I mean, I can see the Mustalis being that coordinated and doing the thing, but is there someone who leads them, or leads that, or is it a communal... Or especially
the dwarfs have. That's the problem. That's why the dwarfs' plans don't ever work. They don't really have a leader, because the people who are the most experienced dwarfs aren't people who rose to the top because they were leaders. They were the dwarfs who were the very best at building cogs or something. So they aren't necessarily able to lead other dwarfs in an intelligent manner. So they just they have this machine and they make the machine. Then it's supposed to do the work for them. The machine's supposed to do it on its own, but it doesn't. So the dwarfs are actually kind of pathetic. When the machines work, they're great, but your camera is great. But if you went fishing with it, it wouldn't be so good.
It's true.
And the other problem the dwarfs have is the camera has no self-direction, right?
You have to direct it
by someone else. So presumably, at one time there was forces that used the dwarfs for tasks, and now those are gone. So the dwarfs are still there trying to get their tasks.
So someone was issuing tasks at them, for them, and
Yeah.
this entity...
Probably the Celestial Court.
The what?
The Celestial Court.
Ah, okay, yes.
And when the Celestial Court went away, then
They
the
were
dwarfs lost their motivation.
I mean, with the trolls, you can easily imagine that might
Well,
be
they have a family structure, right up to Hector.
mistress trolls.
Mistress trolls are in charge of the dark trolls and everything organized. And the elves have the spirit of the forest. They're kind of disorganized because each forest is separate, but at least each forest has a communal soul that can make decisions.
Yeah, do you remember when we talked last year about my ideas about the troll plot? Mm-hmm. That they're trying to take away all the trollkin to eat the eyes, and that every troll community ships away their trollkin.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And using them, you can see I think that the original plan includes that the trolls use the trollkin to eat away the eyes, right? Mm-hmm. I think it was mentioned somewhere, or someone said it once that they put them with their head in the ground and make them eat through, drill through the eyes or something.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about maybe one of the things that could happen in the campaign would be that suddenly all the trollkin are gone. The troll community kind of fall apart, the insects that they heard roam around, and the fungi starts spreading everywhere, and you don't know what happens. Because there are ways for them to get there, right? I mean...
Well, there's two troll plans for Dragon Pass area. One is, the plan number one is they're going to, they decided they don't want the trollkin anymore, or Crag Spider, and they're going to kick all the trollkin out of Shadow's Dance. So all the trollkin that used to be there are ousted from the troll community, and they're all going to go across the human lands.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Because now you have all kinds of problems with them,
Right, and then so first of all, that will disrupt things in the human land. They have another plan which might compete with that. Their second plan is...
The key?
Only if you can bring me a 0 sugar.
Ah, Lottie!
Don't give me that book.
And the dog.
Come here.
0 sugar drinking the dog. Okay, here's the other plan. The trolls, of course, have been looting Dragon Pass and fighting and gathering Argoner gargants, and they have a lot of gold. They have a secret, the hall of they have a hall in the Castle of Lead in Shadow's Dance. It's called like the Hall of Fiery Brilliance or something. It's where all the gold is they've kept, which of course they don't like the gold, but they've got it. And so they have mountains of gold
that are holding.
Because the trolls don't use it. They just give it. They know if they get gold, they give it to Crag Spider, right? Or the Castle of Blood people, and they just put it in the hall, right? And then they use bowls and bloomers, right? So all the gold is there. So they're going to take all the gold, right? Possibly just before or just after the Trollkin release, and give it to the humans.
Just like that.
It's going to destroy the economy of Dragon Pass.
It's a financial disaster.
It'll be a financial disaster, right? I mean, if they give it all to the Sartorites, what's going to happen to the looters? Exactly. And the Sartorites. It'll be catastrophic, right? And then if you follow that up with the Trollkin raid, when everyone is like there's inflation everywhere, and all the farmers have stopped farming because they're rich.
Yeah.
Right? And,
but you cannot buy anything for it because there's
can't buy anything for it, yeah. So that's the other troll plan, which I think is actually a better plan than the iceberg.
Much more effective.
But it can only work in a small area.
It will destroy community.
Then once the humans are fallen into civil war and the communities
never heard about that
then the
one.
trolls come in and eat them all.
Never heard about that one. That's kind of cool,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Would be a fantastic campaign,
Wouldn't it?
It's like, what?
Okay, you all have
Thank you, Wendy.
30 mastery.
Yeah, 30 mastery of wealth.
Yeah,
A
but
troll,
does
comes up
everyone
to you,
else?
a troll comes up to you and gives you 10,000 wheels.
What? Just keep it,
Here.
And everyone else has it too, like you bring it back and we celebrate, yay, we're rich. And then everyone wants to buy clan treasures and then you don't.
Until they find out that they're trying to kill you for it and they're fighting each other to defend it, right?
But then everyone has it, it's kind of
So they say, we gotta go and quick spend it out the looters before the
would be very that would be very Glorantha.
There's
Like, what?
yeah. So, and a part of the reason for that catastrophe is to demonstrate that the trolls are actually pretty savvy. They aren't right. It's pretty
because of the mistress race.
No, but they have to, because they have been hit so hard in the past. They have to
they're smart. They're still the goal. The ultimate goal is eat stuff, but they can be smart about the way they do it, right? So
that's very funny.
Yeah, I like the goal.
But why did they want to release all the token? What was that again? I mean,
well, that's actually a side effect of their plan to cure the Trollkin curse.
and what is But we don't know anything more about it.
They want to exterminate the Trollkin.
Okay, so
But
there will be.
the Trollkin are still useful as food, so they just don't want them in the Trolllands. This is yet another failed attempt to end the curse.
Yeah.
Cragspider's still trying. She tried twice. She made the great trolls. Well, she didn't do the litter. And also in Pameltella, they're trying to end their curse.
What was their curse?
Well, in the
they don't have front in Pameltella.
there's jungle trolls in Pameltella, and what happened there is that when the Darkness God, who's probably Zorax Zoran, and led the armies of ice into attacking Pameltella, and they got defeated by, in the mythic thing, it's Pamal fighting Zorax Zoran, right? Or the cold ones, Umoth and those guys. But probably physically it was armies of humans and elves fighting trolls and barbarians, okay? What happened is that he crippled the trolls and destroyed the cold aspect of them. So the hot trolls live in the jungle and they're darkness, but they have no cold left in them. Okay, it's like Yamalio has no heat, they have no cold. But it's a physical thing, so these trolls are they're still big, but they're skinny and emaciated looking, and they're still dangerous predators, but they're also not they're not in big groups. The trolls in Neanderthal are organized and they have kingdoms, right? In Pameltella, there's family groups or little clans here and there, and they kind of live in among the elves and they just eat things and.
Yeah, they're more savage.
Yeah, they're savages, right? And and they view their lack of cold as a weakness. They thought if they could have the cold and they could bring chill to the jungle, they'd be more dangerous, right? As it is, they just have to live in part of the jungle. So they've been trying to figure out a way to break that curse. And one clan did it by doing the Cragspider plan, where they got a dark troll and they brought their powerful darkness spirits to mate with it, and hoping they would give birth to a new hybrid jungle dark troll that could stand the cold. But instead what they got was that clan started giving birth to Trollkin. So that was a problem. And then there's another clan that mated with that combined with storm spirits, because originally it was storm and darkness that invaded Pameltella, and this is in the central mountains. I forget which mountains they are. There's the Polarcree Mountains and the Taro Mountains, the Mari Mountains. And the Mari Mountains, they combined storm and dark, and they gave birth. They recreated the horned trolls from the god time. So now there's a small group of horned. So they've kind of broken the curse, but they are jungle trolls and the horned trolls.
Yeah, there are not many of them.
No. It happened actually in my campaign once working at Chaosium. And they have but they're up in the mountains, and so they have horned trolls. A few.
Just how abstract is the Godlearner secret sending?
I don't even know if it's the same secret that it was when I left.
Okay.
I don't know if Greg has changed it. If he hasn't, it's not particularly abstract.
Is there anything else on your list?
Let's see. There's the Godlearner secret. There's the lunar secret.
The lunar secret?
Well, the way they look at magic and stuff. It's not really a secret, I guess. there's the, I guess it's not really a secret that the Arcane cult is the Black Guardians of the hero plane. They're all over the place. Whenever you go on the hero plane, on a hero quest, very often there's these guardians that show up, okay? And so like for example, when you go to treat with these, the knife raven, which is a raven with feathers all made of knife blades, iron knife blades, then you're supposed to negotiate with it, right? But there's a guy in black armor with a big sword standing next to him, watching. And if you try to kill the raven, then he'll fight you. The guy will. Yeah. Well, the raven will too, right? And so what these guys, they're all over the place in the hero plane. And what they are, the Arcane cult is actually a bigger cult than people know. But no one ever sees it do anything because all its activity is on the hero plane. Because you join the Arcane cult, your goal is to protect the hero plane from being abused like the Godlearners did. Okay? So, like, if you join the Arcane cult and you're like a rune lord of Arcane, then you, your job is to go on the hero plane and stand by the knife raven and guard it. If someone tries to kill it, you kill them.
Isn't that the Humanity, the raven? Isn't it?
It's a Humanity quest, but other guys go on that quest.
No.
And Humanity might not do it right too, right? So you're just there, okay? And of course, what's happened is the Lunars are actually doing creative hero questing, the way the Godlearners did, but not the same motivation, so that they have been having this war on the hero plane against the Arcane cult. So sometimes you can go to a place like where the raccoon is, that you talk to, you riddle game with the raccoon before you cross the river, and there's no guardian of the raccoon, because the lunar killed him and a new one hasn't come, so you can kill the raccoon and get his fur. And if you do that enough, the raccoon will go away, and there won't be a raccoon, and that's what happened with the Godlearners. They started changing the God plane. So there's things on the God plane that aren't there anymore because they wrecked it, and the Lunars are doing that, and the Arcane are trying to stop it. So they're just a force of counter. Of course, Arcane did creative hero questing too, so it's kind of trying to fix what he did, but hero questing isn't very common, I guess. So
is it possible?
We need to have a guide like Minecraft for the hero plane too, you know.
So is it possible for someone who follows the Arcane cult to go to the hero plane physically and vanish from the physical world?
Yeah.
And so they are just in the hero plane?
Well, yes, usually you come back periodically. But here's an example. Here's one of the reasons of the Arcane cult. In the Arcane cult, you can go and you can get permission to violate the hero plane. You say, hey, I really need to kill the knife raven. So can we make it? And they go, okay, well, this one time, but then you have to make up for it by doing all these other things. And he goes, okay. So they're kind of cynical about it. And really, the thing about the Arcane cult is it's not actually a cult, because people go into